Welcome to the Business Strategy Training. I'm Karan Dillon, founder of the Contractors Coach. As a contractor, did you know it only takes 5 steps for you to develop a successful, self-running, multi-million-dollar construction business that is operated on professional business systems and is run by a team of people trained on using those systems so that you as an owner can step back and manage the company versus having to work in it all the time. This is a type of business that gives you the free time as well as the financial security to enjoy a lifestyle that's only available to the top 5% of business owners in the world. This 5-step process was developed over the course of 15 years and 30,000 hours of work with over 600 successful contractors. And we have distilled all that knowledge into this business strategy training. So what are the 5 steps that create these results? Let's get right into it. So the first step is to understand a fundamental principle that the success or failure of any business has very little to do with the business itself, and it has everything to do with the owner. Because the truth is, any business is simply a reflection of the owner. So before a business can grow, who needs to grow first? Of course, it's the owner. But what do I mean by that? The reason you're watching this is because you want to create a certain set of results in your business and your life. Results that are much larger than you've ever achieved before. In order to do this, you have to understand a basic relationship. And that relationship is the answer to this question: where do results come from? And this is not a trick question or a philosophy question. It's a basic question. Where do results come from? And the answer is results come from our actions, our behavior. So what we do determines what we get. And if that is the case, then the question we need to ask ourselves is what controls our behavior? What determines what we do? And when you think about it for a second, the answer becomes obvious. What controls our behavior is our mindset, our thoughts, and our feelings, which means how we think will determine the actions we will take, which will then in turn determine the results that we create. So if we want to create results in our life that we've never achieved before, where must we start? Hopefully the answer is obvious right now: our mindset. So what does this look like? The most important mindset business owners have to have is that you are not your business. What that means is you and your business are separate entities. For some people, this is a confusing concept because they're like, hey, what do you mean I'm not my business? I am my business. If I don't work, my business doesn't work. Everything depends on me. And it does because you've built it that way. But the fundamental truth remains: you are not your business. You and your business are separate entities. So the fundamental question is, why do you have a business? Why did you go into business in the first place? Why didn't you just go get a job, go work for the post office, deliver letters all day? It's so much easier. There's so little risk involved. The reason that we have businesses and the reason we start businesses is because we know in the back of our minds that if we get this right, if we get this business to be really successful, we can create a much better life for ourselves and our families than we could ever do working for other people. That's the real reason why we have businesses. So the real reason we have businesses is because we have some personal goals. And these personal goals are around the type of lifestyle that we want to have for ourselves and our families. However, once we have a business, we also have business goals. And when we get involved in the daily operations of our business, which goals tend to dominate? Between the personal goals and the business goals take over our entire life. We got to deal with client issues, employee issues, payrolls, taxes, all of this stuff. And when we get our focus onto the business goals, what happens to the focus on personal goals? It completely evaporates. We just get involved in the daily operations of our business. The truth is, it's hard enough to hit goals that we're focused on. What are the chances that we're going to hit goals that we don't focus on? It's 0 to none. So that's what you see in the life of most contractors. They work hard in their business. They're working 10, 12 hours a day. The business is growing, yet they have no time for their personal life. Even if they take a vacation, their phone is always blowing up with some crisis in their business. And this isn't the type of life that most people signed up for when they went into business in the first place. So the question is, how do you fix this? The first step is to get the right mindset. That is to get your mind focused on the right thing. The reason you have this business in the first place is because you want to have a great personal life. And therefore, your focus must always be on your personal goals, because your personal goals should drive your business goals. The purpose of your business is to generate the income to give you your lifestyle. The point I'm making here is this, that your business is just a tool. It is a tool to give you the life that you want. The problem occurs when people let the tool take over their life. Then all they do is work serving the tool, and what suffers is their personal life. So to turn this around, what we have to do is we have to make our personal life, the lifestyle that we want, the primary focus of our mindset. And the way you do that is to create something that we call is a vision board. Now, some of you may have a vision board, or you may have heard of it, but all of us have ideas in our mind of how we want our life to look like. And there is a specific way you go about creating a vision board. A vision board specifically focuses on the type of life that you want to create. And what you put on this vision board has to be very meaningful to you. So what are some examples of things that people put on the vision boards? Some people have a large family and they say, I'd like to have a nice big house. Some people want a flashy lifestyle and they want fancy cars, boats, etc. Other people want to spend more time with their families, so they put on luxury vacations. Some people are part of a church group and they want to go to Mexico and build a water treatment plant in a village. It doesn't matter what you specifically put on the vision board. What actually matters is that whatever you put on there is highly meaningful to who? You. Because for some people, fancy cars and flashy boats might be what they want, and that's great. But if that's not important to you, don't put it on there. If you want to have more time with your family and luxury vacations and more free time is important, that's what you should focus on. The point of the vision board is that it allows you to define what success looks like. Let's define success. What is success? Now, there's lots of philosophies around this, but let's just keep this basic. Success is simply getting what you want. If you want something and you get it, that is success. In order to be successful, you have to understand some fundamental principles. There are two fundamental principles of success. The first principle is that success requires energy. Why? Because look around you. The people with the highest energy generally win. And as a business owner, if you want to be successful, the most important thing for you to do is to be fully 100% responsible for your level of energy. And the way you do that is to create a very powerful vision board. A vision board that has things on there that are very meaningful to you. Your job when you wake up every single morning, before you do anything else, is to look at this vision board and be clear with yourself. The reason you woke up today is to make this happen. And it is not to deal with your client issues, your employee problems, your payrolls, etc. Yes, you have to handle that. But if that is all you focus on, what is that going to do to your energy level? It's going to lower your energy level. And when your energy is low, what happens to your chances of success? They also are low. So in order to follow the first principle of success, which is success requires energy, your number one job is to be fully 100% responsible for your level of energy. Now notice what I am not saying. What I am not saying is hard work. If hard work is what made us successful, then the people who work in the field, they would be the most successful people. But we know that is not true. Now, I'm not knocking hard work because hard work is needed from time to time. But hard work is not a strategy. And the reason I bring this up is because most of us have been brought up in middle-class families. And what is the message you get in a middle-class family? That if you want to make more money, you want to be more successful, you must what? Work hard. And that then becomes a mindset. And that's fine. But the problem is hard work only goes so far because there's only so many hours in the day. So if hard work is what you rely on, sure, it's going to work in the beginning. But once you start working 10, 15 hours in a day, you start to run out of time. But most importantly, you start to run out of energy. And once your energy is low, what happens to your chances of success? They also are low. So you have to put things into the right place. The number one principle of success is that success requires energy. And as a business owner, your number one responsibility is to have a high level of energy. Now, the second principle of success is the answer to this question. When do you want to be successful? Do you want this to take forever, or do you want to do it in a short period of time? Obviously, it's a short period of time. So how do you do that? The second principle of success is that clarity accelerates success. What that means is the clearer you are about where you want to go, the faster you will get there. The way we do that is we take our vision board and we add a high level of clarity. So let's take an example. Let's say somebody has on their vision board that they want to take quality vacations with their family. So let's say they want to go to Hawaii for a great 2-week vacation. So the first step is to get some pictures of the island that you want to go on. So let's say it's Maui. So you can put these pictures on the vision board, but that's not enough. To create a high level of clarity, the first step is to put the dates that you want to take these vacations. So go to the calendar and mark out the 2 weeks that you're going to take the vacation. Next, go to Maui and find the best hotel. Let's say it's the Four Seasons. And go and look at the rooms that you want to take. Let's say you want a king-size suite facing the ocean at the Four Seasons. Go to their website, find out what it takes for 2 weeks in a king-size suite that's an ocean-facing view. Then go look at flights. You want to fly first class, of course. What does it take to fly first class for your family to Maui during those 2 weeks? Then you add this all up. So you've got the 2 weeks, you've got your dates clearly marked out. You know where you're going to Maui. You know where you're staying at the Four Seasons at one of their best suites, and you're flying first class. Add up those numbers. I don't know, let's say the number is $35,000. So now you know, as soon as you can clear up 2 weeks and you have $35,000 available, it's done. So let's just take another example to drive this home. Let's say you have a large family and you want to buy a nice big house for your family to live in. Now, one thing is to go there and get some pictures of nice houses and put that on the vision board. That's fine, but that's not enough. To create a high level of clarity, go and visit exactly the type of houses that you want to buy. You may not be able to afford this yet, but that's fine. Go visit those houses. Then get the pictures of almost the exact house that you want. Put those pictures on the vision board. The next step is sit down with a mortgage broker. Ask them, what does it cost to buy this house? Which is, what is the down payment going to be? What is going to be your monthly mortgage cost? What are the property taxes? What is the HOA if there's anything? And most importantly, what kind of income that you are going to need to generate so you can afford the mortgage for this house? Add all of those numbers up. Now, you just don't have pretty pictures of a house. You know exactly what you need to do to buy this house. And now your job is to use your business as a tool and create this income and these financial resources to get you your dream house. So a vision board is much more than just pretty pictures. It is getting an exact understanding of what you need to do so you can have what you want to have in life. And the clearer you are, the faster you get there. So the two fundamental principles of success are: principle one, success requires what? Energy. And principle number two, clarity accelerates success. And your job now is to create a vision board that is crystal clear and has things on it that are very meaningful to you. And this is the most important step on the road to building a successful business and a great life.